Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got some truly explosive news that's been sending shockwaves through the entertainment world, and it involves none other than one of the biggest names in the music industry, Sean "Diddy" Combs. Whether you know him from his days producing hit after hit or as a business mogul with a massive empire, Diddy has always been a household name. But this time, it's not a new album or business venture making headlines. Instead, we're talking about some serious allegations and a scandal that's threatening to dismantle everything he's worked so hard to build over the years. Trust me, you won't want to miss a second of this. Before we dive into all the details, though, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out and keeps you in the loop on all the latest news. You don't want to miss anything, especially when stories like this one are developing so fast. Now, let's get into the meat of it. Diddy is someone who's dominated the entertainment scene for decades. From his early days with Bad Boy Records, where he was responsible for shaping the careers of iconic artists like Notorious B.I.G. and Maze, to becoming a cultural icon in his own right, Diddy has always been in the spotlight. But recently, that spotlight has turned a bit too harsh, as a series of serious allegations have come to light. And these aren't just your typical tabloid rumors. These claims are significant and have people in the industry, and beyond, taking a long, hard look at Diddy's legacy and what might happen next. The allegations themselves are quite varied, but they all paint a picture of someone whose behavior may have crossed serious lines. There are accusations of sexual misconduct, inappropriate workplace behavior, and a general pattern of abuse of power that, if proven true, could be career-ending. What's really alarming is that these claims aren't just coming from one person or a single incident. More and more people are stepping forward with their own stories, and the pattern that's emerging is hard to ignore. These accusations, some of which reportedly involve people who have worked closely with Diddy for years, have caused quite the stir in both the public and media. Now, to be clear, Diddy has consistently and firmly denied all of these allegations. He's gone on record calling these accusations sickening, labeling them as outright lies designed to bring him down. He's also made it clear that he believes these claims are financially motivated, describing them as nothing more than a series of money grabs by people looking to take advantage of his wealth and fame. Diddy's legal team has been vocal too, issuing statements that dismiss the allegations as entirely without merit. His lawyers are standing by him, working hard to clear his name, but in situations like this, public perception can change quickly. And here's where things get even more intense. Despite Diddy's denials, these accusations have sparked not just media attention but actual federal investigations. That's right, the authorities are involved now, and the situation escalated quickly from being a scandal in the press to something much more serious. In fact, law enforcement has already conducted raids on some of Diddy's properties. Imagine waking up to headlines about the FBI raiding Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. These raids were a huge deal, and they sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. It's not every day that you hear about a music mogul like Diddy being involved in something so serious that federal authorities are taking action. During these raids, law enforcement detained 2 of Diddy's sons. Now, that's a big deal because it suggests that the authorities are really looking into Diddy's personal life and those around him. Fortunately for his sons, they were released without any charges, but the fact that they were caught up in this mess has only made the situation messier. There's no doubt that this has taken a toll on Diddy's family life. Reports have surfaced that Diddy's sons have since moved out of his home, and one of his close associates, Brendan Paul, has been arrested in connection to all of this. For Diddy, who has always portrayed himself as a family man and someone who values loyalty above all else, this is a huge blow. The pressure on Diddy is mounting, and it's becoming clear that his once glamorous life is unraveling before our very eyes. It's hard to imagine how someone who's been at the pinnacle of success for so long can find themselves in such a dire situation. But here we are. Diddy's career and legacy are on the line, and with each new allegation, the situation becomes more and more precarious for him. It's a reminder that no matter how powerful or influential someone is, no one is immune to the consequences of their actions, or the weight of public scrutiny. What's even more shocking is that just as things seemed like they couldn't get any worse, news broke that Diddy has reportedly escaped from prison. Yeah, you heard that right. The FBI has confirmed that Sean Combs managed to evade authorities and is now on the run. This is absolutely insane and raises a lot of questions. How did this happen? How does someone as high profile as Diddy escape from a federal facility? What does this mean for the legal process moving forward? There are so many unknowns right now, but one thing is clear. This story just took a dramatic turn that no one saw coming. The fact that Diddy has escaped also raises concerns about the victims who have come forward with allegations against him. How are they supposed to feel, knowing that the man accused of these serious crimes is no longer in custody? It's a terrifying thought for them, and it complicates an already complex situation. Not to mention, it adds a whole new layer of drama to this unfolding story. Is Diddy planning to flee the country? Will he be caught soon? There are so many unanswered questions, and the tension is only building. To understand how this could have happened, we need to look at the facility Diddy was being held in, the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn. MDC Brooklyn is a federal jail notorious for its terrible conditions and has a long history of controversy. It's the only federal jail in New York City, and it has housed some pretty high-profile inmates over the years, including R. Kelly, Ghislaine Maxwell, and even cryptocurrency mogul Sam Bankman-Fried. But despite its high-profile residents, the conditions inside the facility are reportedly abysmal. The problems at MDC Brooklyn are well documented, revealing a troubling picture of life inside this detention center that starkly contrasts with what one would expect from a modern facility in New York City. These issues are not mere inconveniences. They are deeply rooted challenges that undermine the very foundation of human rights within the correctional system. To begin with, the facility has been grappling with a significant shortage of staff for years. A detention center like MDC Brooklyn requires a well-trained and adequately staffed team of correctional officers, medical personnel, and support workers to maintain safety and security for both inmates and staff. Without sufficient personnel, chaos can ensue, leading to dire consequences. The staff shortage at MDC Brooklyn has serious implications for everyone involved. Officers are overworked and stretched thin, making it increasingly difficult to manage the daily operations effectively. This situation raises substantial safety concerns. With a reduced number of staff members available, officers can't be present in all areas of the facility simultaneously, which creates an environment ripe for conflict. Inmates, frustrated by the lack of access to essential services or the inability to resolve disputes, can quickly become volatile. When tensions rise and frustrations boil over, violence can erupt, endangering the safety of both inmates and correctional officers alike. Overcrowding compounds these issues significantly. MDC Brooklyn was designed to accommodate a certain number of inmates, yet like many facilities in the U.S., it frequently exceeds its capacity. Picture a scenario where individuals are forced to share living quarters intended for 1 or 2 people, only to find themselves crammed in with 4 or 5 others. The loss of privacy, combined with an ever-increasing population, creates an atmosphere of tension and unrest. The ripple effect of overcrowding touches every aspect of life behind bars. Resources become scarce, whether it's access to nutritious food, adequate medical care, or recreational opportunities. The combination of overcrowding and understaffing fosters an environment that is not only uncomfortable but dangerously unstable. The living conditions at MDC Brooklyn paint a grim picture. Multiple sources have described the facility as unsanitary, and these accounts often seem to understate the severity of the situation. Inmates and their families report infestations of rodents and insects, mold creeping into cells, and an overall lack of cleanliness that renders humane living virtually impossible. Imagine grappling with daily hygiene challenges, where access to clean water and functioning bathrooms is not guaranteed. It is inconceivable to expect anyone to maintain their mental and physical well-being in such deplorable conditions. Yet this is the harsh reality faced by many inmates within the facility. For a figure like Diddy, who is accustomed to a lifestyle of extreme luxury and comfort, the transition to such a hostile environment is nothing short of shocking. Having resided in opulent mansions, traveled on private jets, and dined at high-end restaurants, finding oneself in a cramped, filthy cell represents a significant fall from grace. With no personal space and surrounded by the incessant noise and tension of prison life, the experience must be disorienting. His legal team argues that Diddy's fame positions him as a target, not only from other inmates but potentially from staff as well. In a high-profile case, the eyes of the public are firmly fixed on him, creating a precarious situation where individuals may either seek to align themselves with a celebrity or, conversely, view him as a trophy to be taken down. Either way, it places him in a vulnerable and hazardous position. Diddy's legal team has been relentless in their pursuit of alternatives, advocating for his placement under house arrest instead of remaining in this perilous environment. They contend that given his status, he faces an increased risk of violence or intimidation. However, the presiding judge remains unconvinced. The request for house arrest has been denied, with the judge expressing concerns that Diddy could be a flight risk or might misuse his resources to intimidate witnesses involved in the case. In scenarios where so much hangs in the balance, Judges often lean toward caution, and in Diddy's situation, the judge's apprehension seemed justified, especially considering recent developments. Life inside MDC Brooklyn is frequently characterized as a nightmare, and for good reason. Inmates reportedly spend up to 23 hours a day confined to their cells, facing severe limitations on access to basic necessities such as showers or medical care. The psychological toll of such isolation can be devastating, leading many inmates to feel as though they have been abandoned by the outside world. When you factor in the unsanitary conditions and the chronic overcrowding, it's not surprising that many individuals incarcerated there struggle with severe mental health challenges. These issues are not merely anecdotal. They have been documented extensively by both inmates and their families, as well as independent watchdog organizations dedicated to monitoring prison conditions. The quality of food served at MDC Brooklyn adds another layer of distress. Reports indicate that meals are often nearly inedible, cold, undercooked, and lacking in essential nutrition. In a setting where physical and mental health is already precarious, being forced to survive on substandard food only exacerbates the situation. It's no wonder that Diddy's legal team is fighting tirelessly to secure his release. They argue that enduring such conditions will severely impair his ability to prepare for his defense. After all, how can someone effectively focus on building a legal strategy when they are confined to what has been described as hell on earth? While the Bureau of Prisons has acknowledged the serious challenges facing MDC Brooklyn, meaningful change has been slow to materialize. Efforts to hire additional correctional officers and medical staff have been made, but the reality is that rectifying the myriad issues plaguing MDC will take time. Time that Diddy and countless other inmates simply do not have. In the interim, Diddy's attorneys are advocating for alternatives, arguing that his continued detention in such inhumane conditions is not only unethical but could also have a profound impact on his ability to receive a fair trial. MDC Brooklyn has faced scrutiny over its conditions for many years. Numerous reports of mistreatment and abuse have emerged, and in some cases, the dire conditions have led to tragic outcomes. One of the most notable incidents occurred in 2020 when an inmate named Jamal Floyd died after being pepper-sprayed by correctional officers. Floyd, who suffered from asthma, struggled to breathe after the pepper spray was administered, and tragically, he lost his life. His death ignited outrage both inside and outside the facility, drawing increased attention to the horrific conditions that inmates endure daily. In addition to Floyd's case, there have been other incidents that raise serious questions about the realities of life inside MDC Brooklyn. The death of inmate Edwin Cordero during an altercation prompted an outcry, with Cordero's widow, Ashley, speaking out against the conditions within the facility. She described the prison as disgusting and emphasized that no human being should be subjected to such living conditions. Her chilling advice to Diddy's legal team was clear and powerful. "If I were you, I'd do whatever it takes to get him out of there." The systemic issues at MDC Brooklyn extend far beyond isolated incidents of abuse and neglect. These problems are deeply entrenched, and addressing them will require a comprehensive overhaul of the facility's management and infrastructure. For now, though, Diddy and the other inmates are left to endure what many have described as some of the worst conditions in the federal prison system. Whether the public will continue to accept such treatment remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. Significant change is necessary to ensure the dignity and rights of those incarcerated at MDC Brooklyn.